Today we continue our study of volume 39, SD 39, the last chapter, chapter 12, SD 39.12, Avijja Paccaya Sutta. The discourse on conditions, beginning with ignorance. This is from S 12:27. This is a very instructive sutta. It gives us an idea of the 12 links. In a way, if you want to have an overview of dependent arising, paticca samuppada, this is one sutta you can look at. It's not that difficult. In fact, all the sutta does is first it gives the 12 links, and then after that it defines each of the links one by one, what they mean. And then after that, it close with using the Four Noble Truth model to explain how all these links are connected. Okay, it is on the sutta is on page 23. I will read the text and then explain the discourse on conditions, ignorance, as 12.27. The Blessed One was staying at Savatthi. Bhikshus, with ignorance as condition, there are formations. With formations as condition, there is consciousness. With consciousness as condition, there is name and form. With name and form as condition, there are the 6 sense bases. With the 6 sense bases as condition, there is contact. With contact as condition, there is feeling. With feeling as condition, there is craving. With craving as condition, there is clinging. With clinging as condition, there is existence. With existence as condition, there is birth. And with birth as condition, there arise death and decay, sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, and despair. So these are called the 12 links. Actually, the only 11 sets, but if you count the links one by one, total 12 of them. And you can see at the back on the whiteboard, I've given a summary there. So when the Buddha says, such is the arising of the whole mass of suffering. So here we see all the 12 links arising in the conventional, the usual way, beginning with ignorance. So this is called the direct order, direct method, direct sequence. Then the Buddha begins from the bottom again, right? So this is one of the very interesting ways in which the Buddha teaches. He will say something from 1 to 12, and then goes back 12, 11, and then backwards. That way, the audience can easily connect with the ideas. Now, section 3. And what bhikshus is decay and death? So once you have this kind of question, what? The Buddha is going to define first decay and death. So this is the Dvandava, this is a twin compound or cumulative compound. Decay means aging, decaying, broken teeth, grey hair, wrinkled skin, the dwindling away of one's years, the weakness of the sense faculties in various beings, in various groups of beings here and there. So here, in other words, it's kind of reflection. What happens to us in terms of decay? This bhikshus is called decay. Death, falling away, passing away, breaking up, disappearance, death, dying, one's time being up or completion of one's time, breaking up of the aggregates, discarding of the body or uprooting of the life faculty in various beings, in various groups of beings, here and there. In various beings, that means individual beings, and in groups of beings, that means as a large group or gathering. Here and there means it can be here in this world or any other world, even in the higher worlds. And then the Buddha goes on to give what's called the specific conditionality. It's the short, what's called like a summary of the independent arising. This is a very short one, and then 12 is a long one. So this very short one, it goes like this. With the arising of birth, when A arises, B arises. Right? So with the arising of birth, there is the arising of decay and death. And the second part, when A ceases, B also ceases. With the ceasing of birth, there is a ceasing of decay and death. This very noble Eightfold Path is the way leading to the ceasing of decay and death. That is to say, right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. This is the threefold training numbers. The Eightfold Path, we train first of all our body and speech, so that our body and speech is ready for mental training. Training body, training speech leads to insight wisdom, so we free ourselves from suffering. So this is the pattern, right? You see, this is the first series, and this pattern of template applies to all the other 11 links. 5.1, you have birth. And what bhikshus is birth? The birth of various beings into the various orders of beings. Orders here today we might call species. They are being born, descent into the womb, production, the arising of the aggregates, the obtaining of the sense bases. So these definitions cover different kinds of lives throughout the universe, beyond the sense world, form world, including form world, formless world. This bhikshus is called birth. In simple terms, coming into existence. With the arising of existence, there is the arising of birth. With the ceasing of existence, there is the ceasing of birth. So the links are taken in pairs after this. And then they're shown how one leads to the other. This is called proximate conditioning. In other words, they condition directly. In this sense, you can call this pair of conditions as causes, because they allow or they bring about the next stage directly. And then this very noble Eightfold Path is the way leading to the ceasing of birth. So how do we end birth? Eightfold Path, that's to say right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. How does the Eightfold Path bring us out of birth? By, first of all, we train ourselves through moral virtue, and then through the mind, and then wisdom. Through wisdom, we end birth. It's one way of putting it. Of course, it's not easy here, right? But it's possible. Soon, as we go through this list, you will see there are other ways, or easier ways of breaking the chain. We'll come to the end one. 6.1. And what bhikshus is existence? Bhikshus, there are these three kinds of existence. Sense sphere existence, form sphere existence, formless sphere existence. This bhikshu is called existence. The sense world, form world, formless world, if you like. We are living in the sense world because we depend on our 5 physical senses, and the mind is number 6. But there are 2 other worlds, the form world and the formless world. They all have some kind of mind, except one, what is called the asanya satta, the non-conscious beings. Their mind is suspended for a while. So in this other the world beyond the senses, they do not have the five senses as we have. They don't need those five senses. They can perceive, experience things through their own mind, like a very clear, vivid dream, as it were. And then the section on this refrain on the info path is given again. Right? With the arising of clinging, there is a rising of existence. With the ceasing of clinging, there is the ceasing of existence. When clinging arises, existence also arises. When there's no clinging, no existence. This very noble four-path is the way leading to the ceasing of existence. There's to say right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So here we see it's going step by step. But here it's going like backwards. It goes from decay and death first. Okay? So first the link is given in normal sequence and then explained one by one in the reverse sequence. So existence arises from clinging. Right? Whatever we cling to, we become that. Then 7.1. And what bhikshus is clinging? Bhikshus, there are these four kinds of clinging. Clinging to sensual pleasures, clinging to views, clinging to rituals and vows, clinging to the doctrine of self. So these are called the four kinds of clinging. Number one, first we are craving for sensual pleasures. Once we have it, we do not want to let go. That's called clinging. Then our ideas, our views, we have to cling to them. Even Buddhists like to cling to views. We believe in a certain kind of Buddhism and we say, oh, this is right, this is the best, this jhana is the highest, and so on and so forth. So we cling to views. Then we cling to rituals and vows, right? Sometimes we like to do certain chanting and mantras and so on, and we are caught up with it. Now, this doesn't mean all rituals and vows are bad. It means that if you have the wrong idea of rituals and vows, then it cuts you off from reality. It prevents you from communicating with other people happily, for example. In other words, you don't do loving kindness, you don't have metta. Then this kind of practice will not help. Then you get caught up. In fact, it's not a very good thing, because if you get caught up with this kind of routine or rut, as we call it, and you are unable to communicate humanly, happily with others, you might end up with what psychologists call obsessive compulsive disorder. You get caught up doing things just for its own sake, not knowing that all these are actually methods of bringing us further along the journey of the Eightfold Path to become a better person, happier person. These are like medicine. You take the medicine when you are sick, and once you are well, you don't take the medicine anymore. Or you got to understand how to take the medicine properly. In other words, of course, we should not stop the medicine too early either. So the middle way is very important here. We have to understand what we are practicing. What is this belief we have? And that's right view. This is why right view is number one in the Eightfold Path. So then the refrain again. With the rising of craving, there is the rising of clinging. With the ceasing of craving, there is the ceasing of clinging, right? Craving, you think of something, you want it, and when you get it, you cling it. So if you don't have craving, you won't cling to that thing anymore. And the refrain of Eightfold Path is given again. So here, when you have right view, when you understand the nature of things, for example, a very simple idea of right view is, all these things are impermanent. Whatever I cling to are also impermanent. They come, they go. So I have to let them go sooner or later. I mean, it's not that Buddhists will not enjoy good things. You can eat nice food or go for a show if you're a layman. You can work hard, save your money, you're a layman, but then you know very well there are limits to whatever we can do. And if you know how to enjoy properly the good that you're having now, then you're happy. 8.1, and what bhikshus is craving? Bhikshus, there are these 6 classes of craving. Craving for forms, craving for sounds, craving for smells, craving for taste, craving for touches, craving for mind objects. This is called craving. In other words, whatever we crave is expressed through one of the 6 sense experiences. That's all there is. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the 6th sense, the mind. That's all there is we can experience. That's our world. So whatever craving will arise through those 6 things. When we crave for either something we see, something we hear, something we smell, something we taste, something we touch, or something we think about. With the arising of feeling, there is a arising of craving. With the ceasing of feeling, there is a ceasing of craving. So in a sense, you can say feeling leads to craving. Here's the hint. So if you understand feeling, you let go of the feeling, craving doesn't arise. That's what we do in meditation. When pain arises in meditation, for example, painful feeling, we just say, oh, it's just pain, pain. We note it as it is, either with words or without words, or we show our loving kindness. The loving kindness displaces the idea of pain. If all that doesn't work, then we change our posture, mindfully change our posture, and then we let go of that perception of pain, and then we go with our meditation. So when you think of that way, you won't get upset, you won't get angry, you won't give up. Craving will not prevent you from continuing your meditation. And so in this way, we call it right effort. Right? So the 4 parts is Section 10. And what Section 9. And what bhikshu is feeling? Bhikshus, there are these 6 classes of feeling. Feeling born of eye contact, feeling born of ear contact, feeling born of nose contact, feeling born of tongue contact, feeling born of body contact, feeling born of mind contact. So here again we have the 6 senses. Contact here means stimulus, sense impression. In other words, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, action of the senses. Because the object has come together, come in contact with the faculty. So we have these 6 kinds of contact, and from this kind of contact, feeling arises. So here, in other words, if we do not want the feeling to arise, then we turn our mind away from that contact. Then the feeling will not arise. With the arising of the 6 sense bases, there is the arising of contact. With the ceasing of the 6 sense bases, there is a ceasing of contact. So, where does contact arise? Where does all this sense impression arise from? The senses themselves, of course. So here means directing our attention, our senses away from whatever is distracting us. For example, if we are traveling and then we see something nasty in the train or somewhere, don't we don't have to look. We just sit comfortably, don't look. Or someone saying something nasty, we don't have to listen. We just think of something else or talk with someone mindfully. So learning to direct our mind away from a negative source of attention. Next is 11. And what bhikshus are the 6 sense bases? Bhikshus, the eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, mind base. These bhikshus are called the 6 sense bases. or six senses, if you like. The five physical senses plus the mind. Here they're called base because they are, in the sense, like the base or basis for our experience. So the eye is the base for lights and shapes. The ear is the base for sounds and vibration. The nose is the base for smell. The tongue is the base for taste. The body is the base for touches or feeling. And the mind is the base for thoughts, or they call mind objects. Technically they call mind objects. With the arising of name and form, there is the arising of the six sense bases. With the ceasing of name and form, there is a ceasing of the six sense bases. Here's a bit tricky. What is name and form? Name and form is how we look at things. For example, it's the first time you met somebody, you never met this person before, and you really want to know this person. Of course, you say some nice things to this person, but sooner or later, you want to know this person's name, right? The name, the sound, word. And then you picture this person in your mind. Of course, there are memories of this person. So you have name, the word, the sound, or the mental aspect, if you like, and then the form is this person, physical existence, presence of this person. So when someone says the name, then this picture of this person comes into your mind. Right? So you have this name and form. Of course, all these are mind-made. These are things we conjure up in our own mind. Someone could be telling us a false name, for example, but we associate the name with the person anyway. So it's quite tricky here. Sometimes we can forget, or we can remember the wrong name, for example. So that is why we need wisdom. Once you have name and form, then the sense bases arise. I will explain this in a moment. Okay? So here, this name and form is something we conjure in our own mind. So in a sense, you have to let go of it. So again, here the Eightfold Path comes in. We're training the mind to let go of all this name and form, not to be attached to them, in other words. Because we don't only have names and form, we have opinions of people. I like this person, I don't like this person, or I don't care about this person. So this is where we need the mental training. We need to have right view, right thought, right? Loving kindness towards this person. Let me go on a bit more before I explain this important section 12. And what Bhikshus is name and form? Bhikshus, feeling, perception, volition, contact, and attention is called name. Notice quite a lot of things here. Feeling, perception, volition, willfulness, contact, your sense, experience, and attention. Of course, if you can't remember all this, just remember the key word, the last one, attention. How you picture this person, how you direct your mind to this person. That's called name. Form, and the four great elements, and the material form derived from the four great elements. This is called form. In other words, this person you know, this thing you see, whatever object you are looking at, let's take a person. It's nothing but the four elements. We are, I am, you are, the four elements. There are solid aspects of us. There's earth element, nail, teeth, skin, head, hair, body, hair. And then the liquid in our body, the heat of our body, and then the breath, the wind, right? Four elements. And then all these are changing, permanent. And we all have the same four elements, inside, outside, everywhere, same four elements, and they're all impermanent. And our actions, our speech, verbal action, physical action, body language, speech language, these are also part of the elements, our physical nature. They are called derived elements. So you have, in other words, very simply put, mental aspect and physical aspect when we experience something. These bhikshus, this is name and this is form, and together they are called name and form. With the arising of consciousness, there is the arising of name and form. With the arising of with the ceasing of consciousness, there is a ceasing of name and form. So wherever you direct your consciousness, you will see physical aspect, mental aspect, and you connect them together. And when you let go of that consciousness, that name and form doesn't arise anymore. And to overcome this, to end name and form, is to follow the Eightfold Path through your threefold training. Now, section 13, this link number 10. And what bhikshus is consciousness? Bhikshus, there are these 6 classes of consciousness. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, mind consciousness. The 6 consciousnesses. So we have the 6 senses. 6 senses, each of them have their own consciousness. Eye consciousness is what? Conscious of lights and forms. Ear consciousness is awareness of sounds, vibrations, and so on. This bhikshus is called consciousness. With the arising of volition activities, there is the arising of consciousness. With the ceasing of volitional formations, there is the ceasing of consciousness. These volitional formations, they are karma of body, speech, and mind. Okay, the 3 doors. So if karma is there, consciousness will arise. Karma is our past action, in other words. And this past action, through consciousness, make us create present actions. And to overcome consciousness, again we practice the Eightfold Path. Why? We need to understand the true nature of consciousness, then we're able to master it, we're able to end the negative consciousness. 14. And what bhikshus are volitional formations? Bhikshus, there are these 3 kinds of volitional formations. The bodily formation, the verbal formation, mental formation. These bhikshus are called volitional formations. These are the 3 kinds of karma. Okay? We create karma through what we think. We create karma through what we say. We create karma through what we do. Mental karma, speech karma, positive karma. Sometimes it's called the 3 doors of actions. What leads to volitional formations or karma? Answer is ignorance. With the arising of ignorance, there is the arising of volitional formations. With the ceasing of ignorance, there is the ceasing of volitional formations. So through ignorance, we do all kinds of actions, good and bad, through body, speech, and mind. And it's very interesting. Notice it says through ignorance we create karma. So we cannot say, I don't know about karma. So if I don't know about karma, I won't create it, right? So it's just like the lawyers will tell you, just because you're ignorant of the law doesn't mean you'll be free from it. So karma is like that. So it's just like, for example, I say, I do not know fire is hot. No, I don't know the fire will burn. So if I touch it, it won't burn me. It's not true, not logical. Whether you know or don't know, fire burns, it will burn you. So karma is like that, right? So this is why we have to be very careful. For example, sometimes we do things not knowing, but we hurt people. We say, oh, it's not my karma. No. I didn't know what I was doing. You still create karma. So this is something very tricky. You have to be very mindful, in other words. Of course, we do say if you do not have intention, then you will not create karma. But that's very tricky because we always have some kind of intention, negative intention, when we are not awakened. Take a simple case. Let's say you're driving a car, you're very careful, but there is this careless drunken person in a very dark place, and then you knock down this person without any intention, the person dies. Of course, in terms of precepts, yes, you have not broken the precepts. But the fact is that you still have killed somebody. If you have not used a car, for example, if you're not going to have that time, you don't have to kill somebody. Of course, you're not at fault, but if you're a good person, you feel bad about this. You will feel sad, upset. So you may not create new karma, but past karma may come back and trouble you. For that reason, we don't see monks and nuns who are really practitioners driving cars. Right? So this is quite a tricky situation to think about. Then, so with the arising of ignorance, there is a rising of volitional formation. With the ceasing of ignorance, there's a ceasing of volitional formations. So this is the ending, this is the last link already. So, now let me explain a technical detail here. Sometimes it's not easy to see the flow of all these links. It's not a very easy thing to do. Indeed, if you understand the working of the 12 links, thoroughly you're awakened already. But we have some rough idea, a bit of it here and there. One easy way of understanding the 12 links is to imagine a baby, how a baby grows. A baby is born, this baby is helpless. All it knows is cry, loud noise, right? And then eat food and then into his own toilet, that's all. But what's happening to this baby? This, number one, we have to know this baby is ignorant. This baby doesn't know anything. Whatever it does, all physical processes, natural processes, the baby has no control of it anyway at the start. And then slowly, what's happening is that this baby, this baby has got its own will. Slowly, this willpower or self-consciousness is beginning to form, beginning to grow. So as this baby grows, as the brain develops, as the mind develops, then the consciousness becomes more clear and defined. At first, the baby, all the senses don't work very well. The baby can't see you very clearly, and the pictures are upside down. Sounds tend to frighten the baby, sudden sounds, right? Things like that. So all the senses don't work very well. But as this volitional formation, this willfulness of the baby grows, the senses also become more defined, more clear. And of course, parents, human beings, help the baby to be more sensitive, if you like. So the senses become better formed, and each sense become more conscious of the sense object. So the eyes begin to see things more clearly. The ears begin to differentiate sound. They begin to hear the word mommy and other sounds. And then the smells, very important for the baby. So the baby identifies parents, mother especially, by the smell, and so on. So all the senses begin to grow in the baby. And this consciousness begins to grow. And as the consciousness becomes more and more intense and clear, then the baby starts learning to say things. Right? We give toys to the baby. We say, a doggy or cat, whatever. We give sound toys, colorful toys. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the baby to make sense of these objects. And then we give names, form. If we show the form, we say this nice ball, we say ball, right? And then we say red, and so on. So we are giving the name, and then we are showing the form. We're giving the mental idea, the physical idea, name and form. And then as this name and form becomes more and more clear to this baby, the sense bases also grow, becomes more defined. And then the baby begins to see more things. Sense contact works better. And when the sense contact becomes better, the baby begins to have feeling, begins to have tantrums or likes and dislikes. It smiles and is happy, not happy, and so on. And then from there, the other things come in, craving, clinging, and you become teenagers, you know, the craving is very strong. And then from there they become what they crave, right? And then you go on like that, you become whatever you are clinging to. And then there is birth. You start all over again like that. So when you see it this way, a bit of a child psychology if you like, you can understand very clearly, and then slowly you apply it to yourself, to other people. So these are the 12 links. Yeah? Then the Buddha closes with section 15 and 16. Bhikshus, when a noble disciple thus understands a condition or paccaya, thus understands the arising of a condition, paccaya samudaya, thus understands the ending of a condition, paccaya nirodha, thus understands the way to the ending of a condition, paccaya nirodha gamini, patipada. This bhikshu is called a noble disciple, who as such is accomplished in view, as such is accomplished in vision, as such is one who has arrived at this true Dharma, as such sees this true Dharma, as such is accomplished in the learner's knowledge, as such is accomplished in the learner's true knowledge, as such is one who has entered the Dharma stream, as such is the noble one who has penetrative wisdom, as such stands right before the Dharma door. So here you see these are like stages, progressive awakening, right? So you have to apply the Four Noble Truths in life. So when you apply the Four Noble Truths, what you experience are the 12 links. Take any one of the connections, the links, reflect on them. First of all, know the link. And then, how does the link arise? For example, fear. How did this fear arise? Right? Feeling. And then, what comes after that? Then, how do you end it? By removing the cause. You got A, B, right? So, understand what are A, B, and then what is A, what is B. Then you remove A, B also goes away. Then how do you do it? You apply it through the threefold training. If you do this regularly, you will have right view, right? So one who is accomplished in view. Then you have vision. Vision, that means you know where you are heading. And then you have arrived at this true Dharma. So you're not simply listening to views, opinions, or you are not a yana Buddhist, or this yana, that yana. You practice true Dharma, the Dharma of anicca, dukkha, anatta. And then you see this true Dharma, you begin to say, I understand this. You no more believe. Surprisingly, Buddhists, there are many of us who have beliefs. We believe something because our guru, our teacher says so. Say, our teacher is the right teacher. That's a pure teacher, awakened teacher, and so on. And we are stuck with those ideas. We never have our own experience. We never directly experience ourselves. But here, we have arrived at the true Dharma. You have experienced it for yourself. Then you see this true Dharma, and then you have the learner's knowledge. Learner means this beginning of the sainthood already, shock of the arahathood. You have that knowledge, not a learner yet, but you have the knowledge. You understand who or what the streamer is, a non-returner is. You have this streamer, once returner, non-returner, and the discrete saints. You know what they are. And then you have the learner's true knowledge. In a sense, you begin to approach it very close. You reflect on impermanence. Then you can connect better with what's going on around you. Then you enter the Dharma stream. So one way of looking at this is you become a stream winner. And then you have penetrative wisdom. Here that means you've attained the higher levels of sainthood. And then here, standing at Nirvana's door, usually this means like non-returner, but here we can take it as the last line. is like Arhathood itself, right? Because almost that close in already. Nirvana's door is a very popular imagery, metaphor in the suttas. So this is a way of looking at the travelings, how we're supposed to practice it. Okay? So look through this, read through this sutta, look at one passage that you like. You don't have to read through everything and master everything. Stay with that particular passage you like, reflect on that passage. And then from there you go forward, backwards. From there you expand your understanding. That's how Buddhism works. So, this sutta is very simple, as I said. The words are simple, but the teaching is very deep. So, we just have to expose ourselves to the sutta. That's the best way of knowing the Dharma. No matter how many talks we listen to, you can listen to the best speakers of the Dharma in the world, or even the Buddha himself would come and talk to you with this big gathering. You just have to practice yourself. Sooner or later you have to go back to the suttas. And then you have to sit calmly or go about your daily life and look at the world with that new understanding. And you need not have any views about Buddhism. In other words, you are all the time learning. That's why the saint is not called an expert. It's called a learner, sekha. Only the Arahat is called asekha, non-learner. So, to be a Buddhist is to try to be a learner first. And this sutta is a very good start. So with that, I'll end today's study. Any questions?
Actually, for the second point, one,
yes.
the four kind of clinging, which one is the most dangerous?
Okay, so we have clinging to sensual pleasures, to views, to rituals and vows, doctrine of the self. Whichever troubles you most, that's the most dangerous to you. So it's relative to yourself. Okay? Of course, if you say theoretically, I would say it's the last one, doctrine of the self. Because when you have doctrine of the self, all the other previous three will trouble you. And that's the most difficult to understand also. So you got to deal with the one which is troubling you the most and understand what's going on.
And this traveling, or which one is the easiest to tackle?
Yes. Between feeling and craving. But when you meditate or even in daily life, when feeling arises, note the feeling so that it doesn't turn to craving. It doesn't become craving. That's the best. We can also try to correct ignorance, like study suttas, practice meditation, but that is long term. That is a long-term training. Short-term is to deal with feelings. Okay, so we end here. Today we have completed volume 39. So we'll go on to a new volume. Next round, probably volume 40 or 41. To be able to be in contact with the suttas is a great lesson. To have the original text is a great lesson. To be able to study the language of the suttas is even a greater blessing. To be able to use this language and to have the wisdom of translating the suttas into a language we understand and can use is even greater blessing. So all these things put together are very happy blessings, very wonderful way of living. And this is something we should share with others so that people too feel happy. Imagine a world without suttas. However, we're going to know the true Dharma. So reflect in this way, we feel an urgency to want to know the suttas and the Dharma so that we are truly happy and other people are happy too. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good mental karma. By the power of this mental karma, may our minds be at peace, even here and now. May we attain concentration whenever we meditate. May we easily get into meditation and dhyana. In this moment of peace and joy and goodness, let us send out our loving kindness to all our loved ones, our friends and relatives, our students and teachers. May they all be well, may they be happy, wherever they are. And also send out our loving kindness to those people who are not friendly to us, even inimical to us, that the Dharma may touch them, they'll be good and compassionate people, and be kind and loving to us. May they all be well, may they all be happy. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.